לאחר שרכש חברה בישראל בהשקעה של $4 מיליארד, אפשר לומר שהשורה התחתונה של ביקורו של וורן באפט בישראל היא שהוא מעריץ את ישקר ומשאיר לאיתן ורטהיימר את המושכות. בראיון מיוחד ל-TheMarker מספר גורו ההשקעות על התוכניות לעתיד, הקפיטליזם ואולי רכישת חברות נוספות בישראל.
Why did you say in the morning that the risk in Israel and in the States for a long run is more or less the same?
Yeah, over the years, I mean, who would have guessed that people, you know, in London would be threatened on the subway or the buses, or the people in Oklahoma City in the United States would be working in a building that would be blown up. Or there are lots of people in the world that, for one reason or another, are discontented or hate their neighbors, and they're likely to pop up in a lot of places. And we do live in a dangerous world in that respect, because they can cause more trouble than they could 50 or 100 years ago. But the United States is not immune from that. Israel, obviously, the geography of it, you're more likely to have given outbursts. But we're likely to have in the United States. We could have a huge outburst. I mean, we have long borders and lots of means of causing destruction. You know, it is a dangerous world.
Do you think that Iskar is an Israeli phenomena or something exceptional even in Israel?
It's exceptional any place. No, I can give you an absolute, unequivocal answer. I mean, you can go around the world, and you know, it's very impressive when a country of 7 million or so people turns out a business like this. I haven't seen anything like this in the United States, you know. And no, we were not measuring Iskar against some other Israeli company. We were measuring it against everything we see in the world.
What do you think about purchasing another Israeli company?
Well, it turned out that the week we closed on Iskar, I believe there was a very small company bought by our CTB subsidiary. I didn't even know about that. I knew nothing about it. The fellow that runs CTB called me up and he said, I just want you to be on alert because we're buying a business in Israel too. It could very well be that some of our companies buy small operations here. In terms of buying a new type of business that doesn't fit in with anything we have, we would want it to be large. I mean, there's only so many things I can handle, and I can't buy 40 businesses a year or something like that. So I'm looking for big ones. And
one a year? One in a year?
I'd be delighted to hear about it here. I mean, I feel very good about writing a check. I've written one check, and I'll write another one. But you can't force it. I mean, it happens. If a family wants to sell a business, you know, that's a decision reached over many years, and there's things that enter into it that I may know nothing about. And so I don't try to talk anybody into it. When they reach a decision that they might be interested, they contact me. And I hope one comes from Israel, but I don't have any notion of where it will come from.
And nobody contacted you yet?
Not yet. Not yet. But I don't have to do one every day.
What Israel should do to make the economy better?
Well, I think this, when you think about it, here's the country since 1948. You know, just look at what has happened. If you compared Israel in 2006, if you compared Israel in 2006 to 1948, it's very, very impressive.
Do you think that there was already an impact on Iskar after purchased it in the world?
I think I'm kind of surprised, but how much attention it got. But I think it did have an effect. It shouldn't have. I mean, Israel should not be a secret. But from the reaction I got from letters I received from people I talked to, I think that in some cases it opened their eyes to the fact that you might do very well over here, and it's a remarkable place, particularly for talent. I mean, you know, money is talent is scarcer than money. Talent's worth more than money.
And about Iskar itself, was there any change in the status of Iskar in the world after you purchased it?
Well, I don't think it hurt. I don't think it hurt its reputation. I'll put it that way. I hope to be helpful in that respect. But Iskar has a terrific reputation among its customers already. But again, I don't see how it would hurt.
Do you think the capitalism is the right economic method or the cruel economic method?
Well, capitalism and a market system have done wonders over the years. Have done wonders over the years. In terms of improving the standard of living, in the United States, in the 20th century, per capita output, GDP, on a real basis, no inflation, increased 7 for 1. I mean, the people at the end of the 20th century lived 7 times better than at the start of the century. And they were working 55-hour weeks at the start of the century, and they were working 37-hour weeks at the end of the century. 40 years after the telephone was invented, it took an average worker in the United States a full week of work to pay for a 3-minute phone call from New York to San Francisco. So the world is capitalism has worked. And I think that's why you see some countries that formerly were communist adopting some of the best features of capitalism. Now, that doesn't mean unrestrained capitalism is perfect. I mean, but a market system in terms of producing what people want to use and consume is remarkable. And people are remarkably innovative and imaginative in meeting those needs. And that's why we've seen, that's why I live so much better than my grandfather, and why my grandchildren are going to live better than I do.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.